problem with cameras. Let's go to studio mode. Go to main. Race cam. Let's deactivate that. Activate it. Race camera. Deactivate. And activate. Okay. Now let's take a look at how that looks. Okay. Yep, okay. Go back to the Studio Start. Studio mode, and we are ready to go live. Well, as I forgot to mute the microphone just then, you probably heard me just testing things. So let's go live. Fully live, with live cameras, well, live-ish cameras. And 3, 2, 1, and we're live. Good evening, I'm Zara Gennard. Welcome to the studio. So, just what we're doing tonight is just finishing this off. Probably filling in the pink, maybe the black, but we're doing the last bits. So we're just going to get on with it. So what I want to start by doing is unravelling some wool to finish this section off. I'm going to keep hitting my head on that light. Ah dear, well it's all going to change probably after tonight for another activity. Because if we finish this tonight, which hopefully we will, I'll be doing something different next time. Not sure what. I can well, it will be creative, but I can either go for some art, which would probably be pyrography, or I could go for some making stuff, which could be the 3D printer, but I don't think so. It could be finishing off the tank. I have a 1/16 scale tank, where the top half, the turret, has to be completed, which includes painting. So there's that. Or it could be starting on a 1/14 scale. I think it's 1/14 scale. It could be a 1/12. I'm not quite sure. I think it's 1/14 because the tank's 1/16. Scale articulated truck. So I could do that. So there's my choices. I think. I mean, there are lots of other things I could do. I have a laser cutter to put together. It's a small one, but there's that to do at some point. And there's a tanker trailer to put together. There's a bespoke low loader to build from scratch. So fair number of things. I'll just lay out this wall. What else? I mean, there are other kits and things, but it's nothing. They're the big things. Yeah, the remote control stuff. I've had the tank. Well, I was going to say I've had the tank for several years in a half-completed state. It would be nice to complete it. I've had the tractor, the truck kit, and the tanker kit also for several years. I've actually also got another truck kit, but the idea of that one is to use the parts, not build it. So So I'll be using the parts of that for probably a bus of some kind. Scratch build a bus. Sorry, I'm just looking at this and thinking I'll put I'm going to put a length of a row of stitches in here just to pad that out a bit. It's a bit thin on the other side. Yeah, the intent of one of the truck kits is to use the parts, things like the axles and the gearbox, the wheels, maybe some of the rails and stuff like that, to actually go into a scratch built. I was thinking of scratch building a bus, just because it's something different. Not quite sure what sort of bus. I was thinking of possibly a double-decker type bus, but a bus which you might use for, you know, a band might use in a rock concert, for example, to get around the place. So it would be like a luxury coach type bus. And again, I'm not actually sure whether that would be single or double deck. But that's one possibility, and that kind of interests me, because it's a bus, it's something different, not that sort of thing you see about very often. And I'm making a mess of this. So yeah, the bus. Or I'm kind of interested also in making a bendy bus, just because again that's something different. That's where the engine is in the trailer and the trailer is pushing the vehicle, which is sort of an interesting concept. Although having said which, I'm not actually sure if that's how they work in real life. There could be an axle, prop shaft between the trailer and the main vehicle, so it drives the main vehicle wheels. Don't know, that's something I'd have to look into, because if that's how it is, I'm less interested in it. And the idea of the rock band bus is just it allows sort of the possibility of all sorts of internal detailing. Whether I'll ever get something like that done, I don't know, because that is a big job. And internal detailing is a big job. And scratch building it is a big job. It's a sort of job that could take actually sort of, well, I was going to say years to complete. Depends on how easily I get bored doing it. So I'd just be taking the running gear, the suspension, that sort of thing, and having to build my own chassis and everything else around. Before I do that though, I might finish the 3D printer, because whilst it's not a fantastically good 3D printer, it was when it was first bought, but like a lot of my other stuff here, I bought it quite a number of years ago now. It's been completely superseded by a lot better stuff, but I've got it, so I might as well build it and decide if I'm using it enough to buy a more up-to-date one. But the idea was to use it for constructing some of the parts for the bus, So things like body panels and things like that. Because they're certainly not things that are likely to be available off the shelf. You can get things like gearboxes, but there again, I was just about saying things like gearboxes. That in itself could be interesting, because in a bus, in a real bus, the engine is across the bus. It's not in line with the bus, it's across it. Which means you have to turn the output through 90 degrees to drive the wheels. Sort of. Or you do for the sort of axle sets that you can get for model work. So again, an interesting exercise, how to have an engine sideways. Oops, I may have done this one a bit too far. No, that's not too bad. It's you've got to be reasonably consistent with your positioning of rows in order to create a consistent packing on the other side. The main one is not having the rows too far apart, because it means you can see the canvas through the other side, which obviously doesn't look very good. But you can actually get to a point where you've got too many loops in a particular area, and it makes the rug feel really hard and stiff, as opposed to being sort of a nice fluffy thing that you want to run your hands over. degrees. It does feel rather warm. Oh, it must be humid. It's been raining outside today, so the humidity is up, so it feels really warm in the studio tonight. Again, as usual. Okay, for convenience, I'm making sure I stay in a line. I can see the vertical threads of the canvas, so I'm staying alongside a particular vertical thread. I'll try my best to do so that these rows are all in a line, even if I stretch the canvas a little bit. these rows are all sort of perfectly straight and don't bend. I learnt that at the other end. Well, yeah, I learned that. I did learn it at the other end, only I kind of ignored it until I got sort of 3/4 of the way through the canvas, and I realised that my rows were about as straight as the proverbial donkey's leg, and it took quite a bit of work to sort of straighten things out. So I'm keep making sure I keep things aligned as I work my way through this here. It'll make me look silly, but what I ought to do is wear a headband. But it comes down to which would I prefer to feel silly wearing a headband, or to feel comfortable whilst feeling silly wearing a headband. And these days, I'll take the comfort. I've never been one that's been particularly bothered by looking silly. It's the sort of thing that bothers other people more than it bothers me. At the moment this is going quite smoothly, which means probably something's about to go wrong. But we'll deal with that when it happens. Murphy's Law. No, it's not Murphy's Law, it's Sod's Law. There's a slight difference. Murphy is kind of like, if it can happen it will. Sod's Law is, because you said it's going well, it's going to happen. That's not, something's caught. So I noticed that was pulling the loops out. Don't know why it was pulling the loops out. And it still is. So there's something. Yeah, there we go. We've got a broken thread. So we'll start that thread again. The broken thread there, it was causing the wool to jam in the needle. Which meant there's too much tension, and that meant it was easier to tool, if you like, to pull the thread out of the canvas than it was to pull it down the body of the tool. Now I noticed that quite quickly. I have before now, specifically when I've been doing this with the cottons rather than the wool, but I have gone sort of 2 or 3 rows before I've realised it's not actually been leaving any loops, and I've had to do 2 or 3 rows worth of work again. And potentially, I mean, with a canvas it's not too bad to do it multiple times, but with the material that you use when you're doing this with cotton, the material is a little bit more fragile, and it can actually, threads can actually break. Now that's okay, as long as you don't start pulling the loops out and trying to put them back in too many times, because ultimately you end up with a great big hole that, you know, the piece just falls apart. So certainly with the cottons, you try not to pull the loops out if you can avoid it. Sort of fit once type mentality. Sometimes you have to do, and it's okay. Say once or twice you can get away with, much past that, and the material just falls apart. Canvas though is okay, it's a little bit more robust, and here all that's happening is the threads are not breaking, the needle is just pushing them to one side, and it's sort of slipping between the threads. This one, just leaving a little bit more space between the rows. I could tell it was getting a little bit tight on the other side. I'll take a look at it in a moment. Yeah, not bad, it was just getting a little bit tight in there. A bit too close together. I could feel the needle sort of catching the loops on the other side and sort of trying to push through the loops themselves. And again, that can start pulling loops out. So you will be able to hear it, but it's sort of a funny, sort of slightly crunchy, sort of slightly stiff feeling in the needle. Right, this is catching loops again on the other side, I can feel it. So So we'll just create a little bit more space for the next row, give a bit more space between rows. I'm starting to get cramp in my hand. That's not a good thing. Trying to hold a thin piece of canvas like this, I won't say tight, but it's sort of being held sort of firmly. Does tend to sort of make the muscles of your fingers hurt a little bit. It would be a lot better if I had something like a dowel or a rod where this end was sort of fastened around it. I'd be able to hold it a lot easier because it's a bigger object, or some other sort of frame. I can envisage the sort of thing that I need, which would allow me not to have to clasp the material but just put my weight on it to hold the canvas in place, and that would make doing this a lot easier. Well, having said which, next time I do something like this, if there is a next time that I do something like this, I won't be using multicoloured wool if I can avoid it at all. I'll be using single coloured wool. It makes the job a lot easier because you don't have to be worried about these lines being straight. You know, I could fill this area in circles if I wanted to, with a single coloured wool. With this being multicoloured, I have to keep a pattern going. I can't do my circles. Okay, time for a cup of tea. Interesting. Right, we are getting closer to the end. Sorry, I'm just laughing. I've just realised the song it wasn't intended to do it, but it's singing about till the end of time, and I'm just saying we're nearly getting to the end here. It just struck me. There was not intended to be any connection between the two. Well, we've got about an inch and a half left to go. Nearly finished. Just keeping an eye on my pile of wool so that I don't well, I do want to use it all up, but I want to, when that happens, I want to put some more out because I don't want the tension to increase to the point where it starts pulling out the loops. Let's just feed a little bit more out. Don't need too much. That'll do. Always put more out. I can always wind it up as well, but excuse me, as I say, it's warm here in the studio, so I'm just drying off. We've already had 3/4 of an hour. Time flies. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. Classic computer understanding test. I don't actually know if that end is straight that we're coming up to. So what I will be doing is when I get to the existing thread that's there, to that point, that's where I'll stop. Even if I haven't got to the pencil line. Maybe only 2 more rows left. No, it looks like there's going to be another one after this. And that is the moment I've been waiting for quite a while now. That is the final stitch in the body. Now I've got to just fill in the 2 missing parts. Right, so I need some pink wool, so I don't want that. We can put that away. Pink and black. So first thing I need to do is move these clamps. Well, strictly speaking, it's not the first thing I need to do, but it is a thing that I'm going to do. Okay, that should be enough. So we'll just put the clamps back. I don't actually know why I put the paper there, because I don't need to worry about damaging the wood. This is just really just to assist with just keeping the canvas in one place. Okay, so let's undo some pink wool. Baby pink. That'll do for the minute. We can always get some more out. needle threader. Important. This is one of the most important bits. Don't lose this, because you don't get needle threaders that are that long normally. Of course, all it is a piece of stiff wire. In this case, I think it's stainless steel wire, just bent really. It's got a sort of a slight loop on the end, so it actually grabs it quite strongly and won't let go. But it is essentially just a piece of loop of wire, and you could easily do that with a piece of suitably thin electrical wire that's strong enough. Unraveled slightly. Right, so I can basically fill this in any way I like. It doesn't really make much difference, but what I'm going to do, I think, is carry on with the same pattern that we've got here, or maybe what I'm going to do, actually start at this end and work that way. It's a bit easier to work with the wool behind the needle. Okay, it's a little bit hard going, is this, trying to get the needle to go through the holes. It's sort of feeling a little bit stiff. I'm mimicking the raw angle of the stuff that I've done up there, just so that if it does become visible on the other side for whatever reason, it's the same pattern all the way across. Let's unravel some more. My hand is getting cramped, but I shall see if I can persevere until we finish the rug. I need now for 2 more rows. It could be about that, I have no idea. No, I think that'll do it. So that's the pink complete. Just now need to finish off the black. And then the rug is done. Well, from the point of view punching it anyway. So again, we'll get these off. Okay, I'll put that there. Okay, so we've got the black area there. Is that a bit too thin on that side? It was a little bit, so we might punch some in there just to make that fluff out a little bit. So, black. That's good. We've got the middle as well. Okay, no idea if that's enough, but we'll see. And we will thread the needle, which I've lost. There it is. Right. Right, well, more wool. And that, as they say, is that. Undo that, wind that wool up, take this clamp off, which needs to be put away. I'll put it on the floor before I drop it on my toes. That clamp off, put it down there with its bullet, take a piece of wood away without the thing falling on the floor, and that is our rug complete. So if I just move my coat tee out of the way a little bit, you get to see a little bit of it. So let's just tip that up. There we go. That's the rug. This end's curled over a little bit, but there we go. With triangles on it. Sort of quite, well, it's different. And there we go. It's done. And so, the next stage for me on this is to hem the sides. I'm not going to do that on stream. I'll probably get a sewing machine out to do that. And then undertuck it in order to neaten up the edges, but that's it. So with that, I think what we'll do is we'll call the end of the stream. We'll come back on Friday doing one of the model kits. Could be the Leopard battle tank to finish, it could be the articulated tractor to do, could even do the trailer, but I think I'll probably do the tractor first. Especially since the trailer I don't intend to paint. I could do, but it's nice shiny metal, and I probably like it better like that. So with that, the next stream I mentioned will be on Friday, 7 PM UK time, same channel, same time, 1800 hours GMT. If you'd like to see any of the history of doing this rug, all 30 episodes I think, well certainly from tomorrow, all 30 episodes I think it is, will be on YouTube if you'd like to see them, because they're not all on Twitch anymore, so youtube.com/navigantart. And with that, thank you for watching, hope I'll see you on the next stream. Bye for now.